preparing to go live stream. Patricia, just let me know if it's going live or when, what, and how. Hi, Charlene. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We are going live right now. Also, there we go. We are live. Welcome to everyone that is joining live via Facebook and those that are in our Zoom room. Very excited to have you here. This is Lunchtime Talk with Nicke, and it is the last Tuesday of every month from 12 to 1. And the whole purpose of Lunchtime Talks with Nicke is just having conversations around leadership, recruitment, communication, where you're at in your business, and having open conversations. So if you are watching on Facebook, welcome. Go ahead and hashtag say, I'm here, so we know you are here. Patricia is also assisting there. If you have any questions, please go ahead and drop them in the Facebook Live. And she'll be supporting me there and sharing those questions. But we do have a few people in our Zoom room as well. So please, Charlene, Jacques, welcome to everyone. If you have any questions, this is your time. Ask us questions. Let's pick our brains and see how we can support, how I can support you going forward. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to start with Jacques. Jacques, any questions from your side?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a strange experience of suddenly from a talk to become a live stream, but yeah. Some of the things that I've been working with in the past year in the industry that I've now been involved with is, and it's got a lot to do with getting structures and procedures in place. And one of the things that I've picked up is that people are very thin-skinned when it suits them. Oh no, but it's because of this. Oh no, you're picking on me, that kind of thing. And almost my question would be, how do you deal with that thin-skinned person in a situation where you do have to complete the following task and also ensure that this task is not just a task that will be repeated next month because no one has done it properly, but rather a task that, listen, we're trying to do this once so that it becomes a standard operating procedure of the business?
Jacques, that's a great question. I think when it comes to, you speak about thick skin and thin skin, sometimes, again, it's about understanding the personalities and how much more information they need. I think when it comes to your side of leadership and leading a team, it's standard, this is how you lead. Firm, be fair. Most importantly, communication needs to be clear. And I think, when you're saying sometimes it works, but people feel like they've been picked on, it's more about saying everybody needs to be able to understand it. This is one of our standard operating procedures. And one of the things I like to do is a training session. And once they understand it and can put it into application, they sign off that they've understood it and now they know how to do it. That way you have now started performance management, that they can't in a week, a day, a month, or say, I no longer understand. If it's something that it's a once off, if I understand from you, it's something that happens continuously, weekly, monthly, or is it a once off?
So what I'm going to do this week, for instance, is on Thursday, I've got a middle management meeting that I'm going to have with my top management and middle management, getting them to understand each other and the road that we want to go ahead into the future with, and then bring that into almost a termly meeting after this, making sure that where are we standing, let's test what is happening in the organization, what are we missing, what can we build on, etc., etc. Make that a quarterly almost to ensure that middle management and top management is actually understanding each other, knowing where we are going towards. So that's the planning that I've got with this so far. Yeah.
That's a great idea. One of the things I would recommend is quarterly. For me, firstly, it's too far in between. Right, so I would actually have more meetings on a regular basis so everyone's on the same page. It's one of those things that you have a clear agenda about what we're discussing. It doesn't mean you have to schedule an hour every week or every month. I would definitely start with, so for me, I prefer to say weekly and then bi-monthly and then monthly until procedures are in place. But in order to have that open communication and effective communication is to do so on a more regular basis. So if anything needs to be unpacked, it can be said in those meetings as opposed to putting it in a box and waiting for the quarterly meeting. And by then, the damage is already done, or it's already blown out of proportion, or perhaps the communication hasn't been said the way you want to say it. So I would preferably, if it's depending on the size group, be it online or face to face. I think if I understand performance correctly, it would be face to face. But having even a weekly meeting starting point, and it starts with an hour. If you finish within an hour, go back to work. But the more concise it is, the more clearer your meeting is with an agenda, the shorter the that is something that I think would be very, very important. Oh, my camera's just, that's something that I think would be very, very, how does that sound? Yeah. So one of the things specifically,
Perfect,
yeah, perfect, awesome. One of the things specifically when it comes to meetings, as long as it's a productive meeting and it's not a meeting for a meeting, to have a meeting and then a meeting before the meeting and then a meeting after the meeting. There's very specific, something you can even do is schedule the meeting and say next week, Monday, this is what we're going to discuss. And I think where you're going now, specifically putting procedures in place, I love doing what's working, what's not working, what needs doing. Focusing on that one thing that's not working, putting it into action for the following meeting, starting on that as a feedback session, coming back, what's working, what's not working, what are we going to do for next week? And once you start moving your things that are not working into what is working, those meetings can then start going to bi-monthly. And then like once a month. So like a time. That's what I would highly recommend. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Great question. Great question. So welcome. We at lunchtime talks with Nicke. My name is Nicke Abraham from the Winning Attitude Skills Training. And today is the lunchtime talk, Ask Me Anything session regarding leadership, recruitment, communication, or your own business. I will do my best to give you my best expertise advice. I see we've got quite a lot of people logged in right here, online, on Zoom, as well as Facebook. For Facebook, please go ahead and drop your questions in the chat bar, and Patricia will share them directly with me. But please do feel free, you're welcome to unmute yourself as well and ask that question. Actually, Michael had a really great question. Let's have any conversation about that. Michael had a really great question that he emailed me. Michael, are you ready to share your question loud and proud, and let's see how we can help each other?
Okay, so how's it, Nicke? Thanks for taking
Hello.
my call. Hello.
Thank you.
Okay, so you are basically, as you know, I'm a one-man band and I run my whole business on my own. And now, fortunately, this year, the property market looks a little bit better in Johannesburg anyway. It hasn't looked good for many, many years. And I'm starting to get very busy. And I'm not quite sure what I should do, whether to go for an admin person to help in my business or to look for some extra new agents to help with the stuff that I need. So that's basically my question. Where do I start?
Okay, that is a really good question. And actually, as I read it just before I came on there with your email, I would say, what outcome do you want? That for me is the most important. So when you're saying I can recruit more agents to help me, so for me, any question I have, what outcome do you want? So you specifically say, should I get admin or should I get more support? So where are you mostly stuck?
Good question. I think admin is probably in one respect the right way to go, but at the same time, I can't cut myself in half and be half there and half here. So I'm not quite sure. I've got to contact clients every day, and I don't know if I can get a new guy to do that or a new lady to do that for me. There's certain things that I think I should do, even though I agree with you, you can delegate, etc. But at the end of the day, I don't want to sound egotistical, but the way I speak to clients and the way the others train a new person to speak to them is very different. And I don't know if I can have the time to train somebody to do what I need to do. Like, for example, canvassing. I know it's an easy thing to do, but it has to be done correctly. Otherwise, you mess up.
So I would say you've answered your own question of what are your needs. So if you're looking at what does it's specifically saying, do I recruit more agents or do I do admin? When you're speaking about admin and canvassing, is that the same or different? So what I would say, what you love to do is cold calling. You love to canvass. You love to be out there. What do you not love to do? And that's what you need to hire. That would be your first hire. And sometimes it's not even what we don't love to do. Sometimes somebody can just do it 10 times better than we can because they're an expert. So what I would look at is, firstly, if you want to bring in more agents under you into your business and grow the business, and yes, the property market is turning, it is booming, it is definitely making fast shifts in 2026. And specifically with all my clients that I coach one-to-one and groups, I've noticed that if you're bringing on more agents, I would say, what support do they need? Are you offering an admin support? Because then having an admin support is the right hire, but that's admin support for paperwork and more focusing on the admin side, not necessarily cold canvassing. I agree with you when it comes to cold canvassing. There's very rarely that I've had somebody that I'd say go and cold canvass. You need to sound like me, you need to have my energy, and you need to be able to answer the questions because you only get one chance. So yes, absolutely. And if that's how you convert your leads, cold canvassing, you stick to them. So what would you, if you do a time audit of your day, where can you spend more, where do you find yourself stuck doing things that you could pay someone to do? So you can focus doing things that you love to do. Because my understanding is going, should I get admin or should I get agents? If you bring in one or two agents, my understanding is bringing in an agent is they working independently with you and your brand or supporting you as a sales agent or a buyer's agent. They can assist with the canvassing. If you have the admin support and structure, it's going to help all three of them to go into production and make better money. So maybe it's starting with admin, and it doesn't have to be somebody full-time. You can have somebody a half day or a few hours a day focusing on your admin so you can focus on what you're really good at. Then bringing people into the game, and now you've set your foundation. Because a lot of people, specifically in your industry, don't all love admin. If you already have somebody trained to do the paperwork the way you want them to do, so give it a month, but start the process slowly recruiting agents into your business. With the admin support, it will be a win-win for the agents and for yourself, because now you can grow your top level in sales, plus you get a bigger market share underneath your brand.
Look, I must tell you that, funny enough, the admin is not that bad. I can do it at night in my own time. I can spend like 2 hours a week at night doing the admin. So I can actually do that. It's just a matter of freeing myself up to do what I enjoy, which is being face to face, belly to belly, toe to toe with clients. Yeah, that's what I need to do.
So what's stopping you? I love your belly to belly and toe to toe, but what's stopping you from doing that? What is that one thing that's stopping you from doing that?
All the other in-between stuff, like emails, like answering queries, like just general life.
So that's admin.
Mm.
That's your answer there. That's admin. So if you can have someone trained to be a mini Michael to support you in the admin, then you can be doing toe to toe, belly to belly. And admin, just like you say, the queries, yes, certain admin you can do in the evening, but you also have the fun. And what happens is when you start doing things in the evenings, we can, burnout will happen. And that's not what we want. So ideally, if you want to start working smarter, not harder, growing your income so that you're fresh with your clients, because you can only do so many nights, days and nights to do your admin before you become fatigued, and now you need to go put on your happy face in front of clients. So it's ultimately saying, what if I have somebody who's checking my emails? And you can again have a VAPA. I've got a VAPA, virtual assistant, personal assistant. She has access to all my emails that she can answer on my, on my behalf. And she's learned to speak in my brand voice. So she can do it that way as well. And that's what you need. So it's the right training to support and help you with that. Hope
Great.
that helps
Thanks so
you.
much.
Great. Thank
Great.
you, Michael.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I see some
Great.
questions coming through. Welcome to those that have joined us online. Welcome to those that are here in the Zoom room and on our Facebook Live. Or Facebook Live on Facebook. Welcome. Really nice to have you all here as well. Remember, this is a lunchtime talks with Nicke. It's from 12 to 1. It's Ask Me Anything, leadership-based, business-based. I dabble in so many different industries, but I love focusing on leadership, recruiting, communications, customer service, any questions you may have. A question that's come through on Facebook from Andre. Hi, Andre. What is the one leadership habit that creates the biggest shift in team performance? Andre, I think that's an incredible question. I'm going to say that one leadership habit, in my opinion, is all about accountability. It's about building an accountable environment, and it starts with the leader. So in order to lead a team in accountability, you need to prove accountability or show accountability in your behavior. And once your team starts learning from your actions, they will be inspired with accountability as well. So accountability is like looking in the mirror and saying, am I living the best accountable life? And then dribbling that down to your team. But when it comes to accountability, like I shared with Jacques as well, it's about having those regular meetings with your team. It's about chatting to them, having those one-to-ones. More importantly, putting in performance management of what he's doing with your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, holding them accountable to achieve it, having open communication and training so that they understand, and then consequence management if it's not happening. So for me, accountability is absolutely the biggest shift when it comes to team performance. And also importantly, to be firm and fair with your lifestyle. Hope that answers your question. Would love some feedback. Thank you. Charlene, I see there's a question from you in the chat box. How to deal with pushy clients who do not want to understand that you need to be paid upfront before representing them in a legal proceeding. Charlene, sometimes it can be challenging, but again, it's setting the boundaries. So I've learned this through the hard way of sometimes going, it's okay, you can pay later, and then the money never comes in big chase. It's exactly the same as walking into Woolworths. You cannot go in there, pick out your dinner, come home and cook your dinner, and then go and pay tomorrow. And that's what we need to understand when it comes to client relationship as well. What I have started to do, anytime I get clients booking my services, I will then put an email with a quote, and it will say 50% deposit on booking to confirm the date, and then 50% the balance 1 week before we start. And I will not start until that money is in the bank account, unless there's a prior arrangement. So I would highly recommend that from your side as well. It's about clear boundaries, clear understanding. When I started doing it that way, I felt like I had to apologize because I'd been burnt. But I realized it's not about apology. It's about valuing your services, valuing your time. And what if there's another client who wants to pay you double, ready to work with you, or maybe the whole proceedings of what you're doing is going to be double the amount of work, but now you've said no to a potential. So that's what I would highly recommend. It's about, this is how I work, setting the boundaries, even in communication with clients when I meet them now. This is how we are. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a deposit. Or if you want a payment plan, welcome to work on a payment plan, has to be paid in full before we start working together. Highly recommend you do that, and I hope that helps. Just remember, pushy clients, you can push right back. And I also believe you can choose your clients. So that's important. I want to work with clients that want to work with me, but I have my values and my structure. And if somebody becomes pushy, are they necessarily the clients you want to work with? I hope that helps. Hi, Sheila. What's your camera and mic setup? I'm doing a lot of online work and need to set up to the setup. Thank you so much, Sheila. Sheila, I'm very happy to share that with you. I bought a plug-in little adapter light plug-in, which I travel with as well. And then also a separate camera that I've attached that I bought. I personally bought, you can buy it through any store. I got mine through Takealot, and it's just a plug into your camera. But I actually cover a lot of that on the Speak with Impact with sales, so effective communication in sales, because how you show up on camera makes a massive impact. And it's from the way you are, your lighting, your stage presence, so that your clients can hear you and not be focusing on anything behind. So happy to have a chat about that. Lovely messages coming through from Jennifer. All right, not sure if this is a question for the platform. I have registered a business in the UK and another one in South Africa, different names. I now want to use my UK business name that I deregistered in UK. Do I need to change my business name in South Africa, or can I use a trading as name? Jennifer, I'm going to be 100% honest. I am not sure. What I can do is put you in touch with someone who does do business names. And in fact, my mother's an accountant. She registered my business. Very happy to share your details with her. You can ask her that question, or I'll find out from her as well. But you're welcome to have that conversation with her. Perfect. Thank you. Keep coming with the questions. Thank you, Shanice. Thank you. I hear a dull whistle sound. Does anyone else hear a dull whistle sound? Are you hearing it as well? Okay. If need be, I have a reliable accountant. There we go. Okay, Janine also said she can hear that. That's very strange. I don't have my fan on. So, oh, there's a few people. Me too, me too, me too. Hopefully it's just a dull. Say, yeah, sounds like a submarine. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, Patricia, let me know in the chat box from your side if you heard that before I started as well. I don't have anything on in my office. I'm hoping it's not from my side too. So, same here, sounds like a submarine. Well, I'm actually in the Atlantic at the moment, 6 feet down, and I just want to show you the power of trading online, that you can do it anywhere, anytime. So if you see a shark swimming by, I'm only joking. All right, welcome to Ask Lunchtime with Nicke. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask in the chat box. Thank you, appreciate that. I will have a look at that a bit later. I am just going to check my audio. I see noise removal, but while we're waiting, while I check noise removal and same sound here as well, I'm just going to double check if it's my microphone. Just let me know if that's any better. If that changed or if that shifted, I shifted my microphone. Let me know in the chat box. But if there are any questions, this is Lunchtime Talks with Nicke. It's an Ask Me session whereby you can ask me anything, anywhere about business. Okay, am I in this? Are you in a submarine? What a way to be. And so I would love to say yes, but I am not. I am going to just double check my microphone, switching here, audio settings. Let me check while I'm busy here. But please do go ahead and let me know. Are there any questions? I'm just checking. Removal, original sound. I'm going to try that and see if that improves. Any questions? Ask Me session. This is all about leadership. Oh, worse. Ooh, let me change that. Thank you so much. What is going on? There we go. I've shifted it back. So we shall try that again. That should hopefully not be so bad now. So I will come out of my submarine. Let me know any questions regarding business, leadership, recruitment, communication. This is the Ask Me Lunchtime Talk with Nicke. Very excited to have you. Welcome to those that are watching live on Facebook. Please go ahead with any questions and let me know what we have to share. So Michael says, mine sounds good. Sounds good on my side. Thank you, Michael. Not sure what is going on Yes. So please go ahead. Let me know if you have any questions regarding your business. And if you asked one already, you're welcome to ask another. Time to pick my brain and I will support you in the best way that I can. So welcome to those also on Facebook. If you are watching live, then you also are welcome to go and drop a message in Facebook. Question from Facebook. Slow season is approaching. How do you keep your team motivated during challenging seasons? So that really is a great question. And I would like to know what industry you are in with your season slowing down. But one of the things that I love to do for me is creating an environment where, thank you, hospitality, perfect. It's creating an environment where your motivation shines through. When I look at seasons slowing down, one of the things that I like to do then is look at leave planners, everyone that needs to go on leave, so you have less staff working and that you can still maintain your shifts to make your money. The second thing specifically in hospitality is focus on training. Focus on spending time, because so often in busy season time, our staff are doing the bare basics just to keep their head above water. But this is the time they can really be focusing on upselling, driving sales, service excellence as well, which can increase the bills and increase their gratuity as well. So it really comes back down to the basics, that it shouldn't actually matter that it's going into a slower season. It's now focusing specifically on service excellence. So there you go. First thing, work on a lead planner so you less is more. And secondly, how can you get your team to upsell, work productively to still keep their sales maintained? Hope that helps you and answers your question over there. So Ansel, our canary sound is a passenger today. Strange. Not sure what that means, Ansel. We say, yep. All right. Are there any questions? This is lunchtime. Nicke, I really appreciate you being here. I'm also wondering if the sound isn't potentially because of going through Facebook Live, but let me know. Okay. As a coach, I often get asked if sessions are paid by medical aid. So depends on the medical aid, Hashila. I would also, I know certain medical aids pay for a certain amount of sessions. However, it depends on the type of coach. It depends on, what coaching they get and also what their diagnosis is. So often when it comes to that, I say to people, this is an investment in yourself. But I know particular dietitians are only covered by certain medical aids, psychologists, psychiatrists as well. When it comes to life coaching, business coaching, often it's not covered by medical aid because it's only deemed, what I understand from medical aid is if it's a mental health issue, but depending on the different medical aids as well. What I like to look at coaching is every coach needs a coach. And secondly, the difference a coach can make in someone's life impacts their business, their mindset, and what they're doing. So I have a voice coach that I see every single week, which is an investment I put into myself, into my business, specifically focusing on my voice, who speaks all day for a living. And that will not be covered by medical aid. So that would then, depending again on your type of coaching, which I know your coaching is, I believe it is not covered by medical aid for that, for life coaching, business coaching as well. But again, great conversation to have with different kinds of people. Thank you for the question. Loving these questions coming through, very diverse. Thank you so much for being here with Jennifer, Charlene, Sheila, Janine, Michael, Charlene, Lynette, Ansel, Patricia, and Jacques, live in the room as well, plus those watching online. So again, it's not a training session, it's just an ask session. Ask me anything related to your business, and please feel free, even if you've asked already, go ahead and ask again. This is a great space and a safe space where we can live and learn with and through each other. So who is next? Are there any questions? I'm keeping an eye on any messages coming through in the chat box. And who would like to ask any question? You're welcome to unmute yourself or type in the chat box on Facebook. Please go ahead, drop your question in the feed, and Patricia will share the question with me. I'd love to hear if you can still hear my submarine. I have come up to 3 feet. The net says yes. She can still hear it. I'm actually wondering, because I'm sharing live to Facebook, if that could potentially be the reason. It'll be interesting to know. Checking in any questions. This is lunchtime talk with Nicke's. I now know so many of you in this room, and I've never ever seen you all so quiet in my life before. So Michael's thinking desperately what's next. What is that one thing that you need to know? Jennifer, I have clients who reached out to me for information about my product. I gave information. They came back to say not now, but definitely later. How do I keep reaching out? Jennifer, that is a really good question. One thing I highly recommend, having a database and sending out consistent messaging and choosing your platform of messaging. That could either be an email, or it could be a WhatsApp, or it could be just a phone call. But what I would do is say to them, definitely later, what does later look like for you? And if they say 3 months, fantastic. Can I make a note in my diary to follow up with you in 3 months? I would then calculate the days and go and put it in my Google Calendar or whichever calendar you use. Follow up for this particular client. Give yourself a reminder a week in advance and do that follow up as well. That is the most important. Sometimes, I will do an ad campaign and I'll just scroll through my phone. Every single person that I've spoken to, I save their name and number depending on which inquiry they ask me about. But sometimes you go through the whole, I was meant to follow up with that person. So even if it's on your phone, put them in a label and put them in a broadcast group. But more importantly, stay in contact. Also, sometimes what's happened is, I think about this as well. Sometimes you have somebody, constantly following up for something that you need. But if they don't hear from you when they're ready, they're going to go to the person who's reaching out on a regular basis. They're building up momentum. That's what I did last week. No response. That's absolutely okay. So I actually had a meeting with a client yesterday, somebody that reached out for my speaking course. I had a meeting with them and he said, actually, I've been part of your database for nearly a year. I'm part of your Monday motivation messages. I've been getting them every Monday for a year. I want to say thank you. I know I never respond, but I love them. So a year later, he has now reached out. He's ready to do a course. So sometimes it's just about, can I ask you, depending on what way you want to stay in communication, email is great with a CRM system. If you don't have that, have a WhatsApp group. Can I put you, not a group, a broadcast list? The most important part of the broadcast channel is they have to have your number saved. That way you can say, once a week, I'm going to share out some valued information. Are you good with that? And you can add them to it. Hope that helps. No response is a good response. Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, so just following up on that last question, because it was a good question. Canvassing in the real estate business used to be quite good when you called people over the phone. But in today's world, people switch their phone off or it goes straight into voicemail or, they block you. So what other ways do you recommend, Nicke, to contact people in today's world?
Okay, great question. We actually spoke about this in Go Get It this morning as well. So cold calling, you're 100% right. I mean, when I'm in training, today I'm training from 8 this morning until 9 tonight. So I cannot answer the phone. So when it's a cold call, plus I've got Truecaller. So if it's a number I don't recognize, I will phone back in a break, or I'll send a message. Sorry, I missed a call. Can I give you a call tomorrow? So cold calling, yes, it's great to have that conversation. I often find people are just so incredibly busy. Here's another thing. I actually am running a email paid Facebook campaign at the moment. It's got a 45-second reel, basically asking you how comfortable are you speaking in public. And if you would like to learn simplified skills, are you open to having a conversation? And if it's a win-win, let's then have this conversation. From that ad campaign that's been running, I think now for a week, I had this morning, I shared 44 leads. People that have commented on the campaign told me what their pain point was. Plus, because they've commented, they go straight into my CRM system. So the first thing is now they will get an email every single week from me because I share a weekly newsletter on finance. The second thing is I now have their phone numbers and email address, plus they've told me their pain points. My first conversation, the first week of dates came through, I started phoning, people were busy. So now I've taken a step back. I've sent them a WhatsApp, very personalized. Thank you, Shane, for commenting on my Facebook advertisement regarding public speaking. You mentioned your pain point was confidence speaking tips. I would love to help you. Please, can we set up a WhatsApp call or a Zoom call at your earliest convenience? Kind regards, Nicke. Then with the response, I'm getting a yes, perfect, wait, what? If there's no response within 3 days, I will follow up and say, hi, Michael, just following up on my message. Still no response, I will then phone. So some people, one of the people I followed up 3 times and said, sorry, I didn't answer. I'm very, very shy. But that's why we need to have this conversation. Would you like to have a Zoom? Would you like to do fade? So ultimately, I have now building up leads just through a paid advertisement. Now that paid advertisement, I'm not spending, I think I'm spending 100 Rand a day, 44 leads. I got another 4 today, 48 leads. So if you look at the money I'm spending, I'm paying for my leads, but this is hot target audience that I can now nurture. Some of them are saying yes, some of them are saying not now, some of them are saying, when can we start? But ultimately, then I put them in my CRM system. I will consistently feed them with information of value and keep that going. So that's one way. But I'm starting my conversation with the WhatsApp because the WhatsApp's much easier to open and respond back. Second thing, once I've had the phone conversation, I always say to people, please save my name and number. Let's have a conversation. You're welcome to WhatsApp me anytime. And I personally am very comfortable with voice notes. I always check if they're comfortable with the voice note. But a voice note, never over 60 seconds. With that, then we can continue conversations with the voice note. So that's a great way. And one of my very good clients that I work with is using a system via WhatsApp. There's multiple different systems on WhatsApp. And he's sending out WhatsApps, starting with 20, building up to 60 WhatsApps per day. And his feedback is 90% of his WhatsApps are open and read. But then it's all about that follow-up. It's not just like selling to people. I'd love to have a conversation to find out what your needs are. And that's what it is. Once they come back and say, sure, you can give me a call, go ahead with the call. The most important part of it is to be on time. But cold calling is one. Thinking differently. I'm utilizing this Ask-Me session. This is an hour. Once it's done, I put it up on my YouTube channel. So basically, you're doing I can use this little snippets to get out to clients as well. So you can look at the WhatsApps, you can look at the emails, you can look at the phone calls as well. You can see what you can do. Most importantly is to stay top of mind, which is very important. Very, very important. But identify what's best for you. A couple of my clients recently that a few of them in property and in different industries, when they get a client coming back to them, I ask them, where did you find them? It's through a referral. It's through following up. It's through staying top of mind. Every time a client phones me, where did you find out about? So last night, somebody phoned and said, I watched you on last week's free webinar. That's another opportunity of giving value. Like I'm doing here for an hour is giving value, as much value as I can. That's what you can do as well. Put out little videos on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever tool you use. Give value is the most important. Yeah. Hope that helps. My pleasure.
Great,
And Zel,
great. Thank you.
thank you.
Brilliant feedback.
Awesome, wonderful. And so when environment fluctuated from convent to retirement is social development. Then first coach marketing and national identity, then mental fitness coaching, then asking time health, current challenge, no database, science. Where do I start? Having 2 niche focus areas. I'm also mindful to maintain and protect information. I'm just saying, can we have a round of colleagues? Niche areas, coach and businesses, everyone working for a company. So Ansel, if I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind unmuting yourself, if you're comfortable talking, if you're not, that's okay. But I think the biggest part, Ansel, you sharing what it's sounding like for me is you've got lots of different things you can offer. Is that correct?
That is quite right.
Okay. So welcome. Lovely to have you here. We emailed back and forth as well. So often, I want to say we are experts in lots of different things because we've lived life and we've got experience and we've got expertise. So something when I started my business, I'm going to share this, is because I've worked in hospitality for 29 years and I did customer service and leadership and recruitment. And then I went into real estate and then I did real estate and then I started my company and now I've got speaking and public speaking and communication. I don't tell people all of that because it's overwhelming for my client. So specifically, it's like when I go to a restaurant with a very big menu and you open it up and you're going, what are they good at if they're serving everything? And that's how we need to look at ourselves. So you can still have 2 niches, but you narrow your targeting to one. So even me going, ask me session, ask me anything about leadership, business, customer service. You know, I'm giving you a big variety of what you can ask. When I'm doing a Facebook campaign, I'm focusing on speaking, or I'm focusing on leadership, or I'm focusing on communication. And that's narrowing it down. If you're just starting your business and you're going, what should I do? Should I do this or should I do this? Is that what I'm understanding? No? Okay, go ahead.
Just quickly, my first niche on my short journey so far, my first niche, and that was, I paid for that and I sat with a coach for some time, was awareness raising in terms of narcissism, which is today a whole issue in terms of relationships. One doesn't even have to maybe call it by the name narcissism, as there's different interpretations, and partially it is, we can all do it, but then there's the exception, like we're seeing in America, with all respect to anyone from America right now in politics. So creating awareness then in different groups, and then came my health issues. So I never executed that niche, and that's what I mean with that niche, with a specific theme. Hence, it was interesting to find out if people in the audience have that kind of niche when they are in their own, like your niches are very clear, Nicke. And then last year, that was not a long time after my health, I had just serious heart issues, which I had to just take a break from and stop any efforts in my coaching, is human trafficking. That is a huge awareness raising. You're thinking of schools, you're thinking of churches, you're thinking per se in your neighborhood. We had in our neighborhood recently a 15-year-old girl that was found murdered in a house of trafficking. But that calls for a lot of collaboration with other NGOs that's already specializing in that. And there's various levels, obviously. There's the legal level going into this. There's research being done at our research center in South Africa, as you will know. Then there's NGOs, there's people that in their communities, because every little bit counts. So it's like to pull it together, and then to out of that, for me to generate now a business, an income, and go with the knowledge I have. I'm a retired social worker with 40 years of experience. I have been in strategic management. I've had staff of 62 people and of 20. So I've been through all of that, which I don't want to continue now, and which is part of the CV, as you say, that's boring. But that gives me a particular view, edge. There's something in there that I need to extract if I can link with someone, my third individual coach, to take me through this period of having all of the info, the little bit, and extract out of that some real purposeful and meaningful future contact and contribution in society.
I love that. I can hear your passion and your expertise that you offer. And one of the things, because it's, there's so many different, I don't know what social media platforms you are on, but one thing I would look at is what coaching platforms are out there. And specifically, even if you're on Facebook, you can go in and type search bars and look for groups specifically about gender-based violence, human trafficking, narcissism, because they are quite individual as well. But I would start with one, just one. And first start building your niche target audience around one to get your business up and going. The same as when I'm having a leadership conversation, even in that conversation, I can say, yes, I can help you in leadership, because that comes with communication, and that comes with customer service, and they come. So then I can spread down the umbrella. So I would say, what is the most passionate one? Get an idea out there, but also maybe host a survey. You can do a Google form and send it out to your community, or you can go on to one of these Facebook groups and do it in your community. So ultimately, find out which your target market, okay, and where are they at? Because they need you. So where are they at? Sometimes it's going, and there's some incredible Facebook groups out there. The one, I'm not sure if you're on it, it's called The Village. And it's a great Facebook where you can put yourself out there and go, this is my niche market, but I really want to be speaking to the right people. Are there coaches out there who would like to collaborate in the conversation or have a cup of coffee? What I have learned in business is that people work with people, and you want to work with people that don't see you as a threat, but see you as a contributor. And the right people will reach out there as well. So I would highly recommend there, but I would say you can build your little peaks, your little silos underneath your umbrella, because some of them could overlay each other as well. But just start. What's the one you're most passionate about?
But both of them. I've even thought of renaming and taking the narcissism and toxicity in relationships comes to communication, comes to everyday life. So one can really narrow it down. And I've been listening. I expose myself while I'm trying to work this out. And I work in isolation. So I live alone and I have no one I can engage with. And it's a matter even of friends of all the years have all immigrated and they're all gone. So it's a very isolated, lonely space for me. Yes. So my company at night is, I listen to Simon Sinek, I listen to Brené Brown, I listen to, last night I added some other influences. So I'm trying to open up my mind and take the narcissism theme into something else. You would know what I mean now, and do another topic. Because to just go to the market with narcissism, people say, you're not a registered psychiatrist, etc., etc., etc. So yeah. I have some ideas of taking that and breaking it down and include the one basic issue, not issue, the one basic ingredient we all need in life, and you're doing it: communication. Because it is through communication that you identify a narcissist, because there's certain telltale signs. I'm talking the toxic ones, not the ordinary.
Correct.
We can all manipulate, we can all do this and that and protect and so on. So let me keep quiet. So I find advice very, very helpful, Nicke, of starting with the platforms. And
Fantastic.
I thank you.
Thank you so much. Another thing I'd love to invite you, and so come to it and go get a session complimentary next Tuesday morning. It's a group of solo entrepreneurs, and owners. We have about 40 people on Go Get Us group. It's 30 minutes every Tuesday morning. It's really about helping each other build accountability, setting a goal, but we also focus on business and thinking differently. But right there, we've been going for over a year now, but right there, we've built such a creative hub where we support and help each other. But then you also find you're not alone. As a solo entrepreneur, I'm in a spare room, I'm in the office of 4 walls, it gets exhausting. So I have to surround myself with people that are like-minded, that we can think with, you know, my biggest accountability partners, I want to say, are my direct competition. We meet every Monday morning, every Monday for both of them for an hour. And we spend quality time focusing on what worked, what didn't work for the week, and how we can help each other. So for me, there is no competition. And even saying I'm doing communication needs to be heard. So the more we can support and help the world, that's the goal, is to make a difference in the world. So even if I'm doing it and 100,000 other people are doing it, do it too. And exactly what I'm doing here, you could run a webinar exactly the same, saying, come up, because I can tell you, I've heard stories about narcissism. You can run that and say, let me help you. I actually put a message out on the village a year ago again, or just over a year ago. Who has also narcissism, so that I can recognize narcissism before it's too late. And very few people have replied. I got a couple of videos that I watched, and that's what I did. But there are people out there that need you. So the only way to do that is to get out there and start studying yourself and say, here I am. And you know what? You'll attract the people that want to work with you. You'll repel them. They don't, and that's okay. That's okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And Jennifer, you asked the question, are you sending gold nuggets via WhatsApp broadcast? So my WhatsApp broadcasts are only specifically known because I've gone to email and I'm doing my email CRM. So that's why. However, you can do it. You can send a short nugget once a week on a broadcast group. Only thing with broadcast, you have to make sure they've saved your number, otherwise they will not get it. And that's the only challenge. So I've often said, please make sure you save my number. That way you can have it. But that is the only way. So you can send a broadcast note. You can even use different quotes, specifically as a purpose quote. And you can create different quotes on Canva, and then you can send out once a week a positivity quote, or a Wisdom Wednesday, or a Fun Fact Friday. Regarding purpose coach, you can create the entire year and you can schedule them to go out as well. And those are golden nuggets, but more importantly, it's top of mind. And every time you have a conversation, ask them, please take my number, can I add you to my broadcast? At any stage, if you want to not receive this anymore, let me know, and I will review you off the broadcast group. That's it. Every now and again, even with my groups, okay, if you no longer want them anymore, just yay, nay, no hard feelings, I'll review you. That's it. Every now and again, but most people I got permission. Fantastic. Love these questions coming through. I am so sorry about the sun from me. Life is beautiful down here under the water. Just see a gorgeous dolphin pouncing past the wall here. Absolutely stunning. But heading up soon. Coming up for air really, really soon. So I want to say thank you so much for joining, Nicke. It's lunchtime talks with Nicke. Got a couple of minutes left, but for those of you already that are here, I hope you gained some wonderful value bites as well. And I think the most beautiful part is that we're here to learn with and through each other. All right. got to ask, how do I navigate from the contact platform to selling myself to a specific pro-earning income? The biggest thing, Ansel, when we're starting, and it sounds like we want to make the sale because we need the money, it's coming from value, value, value. That is the biggest thing. People, when they start feeling your value of what you offered them, will want to come and start working with you. But I always do, even like now running this ad campaign, I send you a WhatsApp, I do a discovery call, I follow up with an email. If you're not ready now, when you are, I'm here. But the most important part is giving value. It's also to a space of identifying, I've given you all the value. In order for you to continue doing this, there is going to be a fee. Because otherwise you can get sucked into helping for free until you've shared all your IP and all your knowledge. So it's very much going, I would love to do a 30-minute discovery call with you, find out exactly what your needs are, tell you what I can do for you. And that way, this is my prices and this is how we can go forward. But it really is value. Even with me saying to Jennifer, do a little creative once a week that you're sharing the whole, you know, something, Jennifer, something purpose driven about, you know, or a testimonial. Keep sharing value. If you just keep selling, people get repelled. So give value, value, value. Brilliant. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I have loved today's session. I appreciate every single one of you for being here as well. Those that are on Facebook, thank you so incredibly much. Have a fabulous day. And please go ahead and diarize the last Tuesday of March, 12 to 1 o'clock. There will be lunchtime talks with Nicke. And if you missed the session, go ahead and please go and watch it. It will be uploaded onto my YouTube channel. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.